Hi, welcome to lesson 3, and in this lesson we're going to continue from where we left off, lesson 2, where we had the 960 grid system installed and we set our canvas size to 1200 by 2100. Now the first thing we're going to want to do is to save our documents. So we go to File, down to Save As, and I'm going to save this on my desktop. I'm going to call it Tutorial, but you can call it whatever you want. And making sure layers is selected in the save option. I've already done that. So okay, so yeah, this lesson is about how we can define patterns, how we can work with patterns. We're going to create a simple pattern. If we look at the final design, you'll see that the background has a pattern, the menu bar has a pattern, the logo has a pattern, and design and develop button there. The background of the slider has a stripy pattern that we're going to create, and the services section, and right down at the footer. Okay, so what I have done now, I have supplied the patterns. So if you could download the source files that are supplied in this course and unzip the folder and locate a file called pattern_bg.ping, it's a ping file, open it up in Photoshop, and you should have a file exactly like this. It's a 198 square file, and we're going to use this of course for our background. So once I open Photoshop, all you need to do now is to define this as a pattern, and we can do this by going up to Edit, down to Define Pattern, and give it a name. Give it what I've called it before, saved it as pattern_bg, click OK, and this is saved now in our pattern picker. Now to make sure that's in there, we can click our paint bucket tool, change the foreground up top here to pattern, and open up our pattern picker, and sure enough at the bottom there is our new defined pattern. We'll hover over it, that will give us its name and its dimensions, which is going to be quite handy. Okay, so select that. Okay, so go back to our document, and we can do this in two ways. We can create a new layer in the layers palette and just click in there, or we can delete that. We can use the layer that is already supplied by the 960 grid system. We can unlock that and right click on it, bring up the blending options, then go down to pattern overlay, open up a pattern picker and find our pattern. Okay, so two ways of doing it there. What we need to do now then is to look at how we can create our own patterns. What we're going to do, we're going to create the stripy pattern that we can use for our menu. Okay, so if you create a new file by 7 by 7, very small one, and hold down Control and plus and enlarge the whole thing right up to this, bring it right up to its full amount. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is create a line going through there and a little black square there. We're going to use black, so if we select the pencil tool, okay, that might be within the brush tool, so you have to open up your tools, select the pencil tool, and make sure black, the foreground is set to black, and then just click in there, not down the middle, just offish, and then at the top there. Okay, then edit, define pattern, we'll call this stripes. Okay, so if we hide our grid system in a minute, we create a selection. So select the rectangle marquee tool, make a big selection, then select the paint bucket tool, create a new layer, open up the picker and locate our new pattern, and select in there, and Control D to deselect, and then we have our stripy pattern. Very easy. Okay, so we can delete that. Okay, and then turn down the opacity down to about 30% normally. Okay, so that's how you define a pattern, how we can create our own patterns. And what we're going to do in the next lesson is we're going to start on the menu bar and then really get going in this design. So okay, so see you next lesson.